Hi guys, welcome back to the Abby Cakes YouTube channel. Today we are talking about how to start an at-home bakery business and tips for that. This topic is near and dear to my heart because when I first started my bakery business from home, I felt like there wasn't a whole ton of information out there. I don't even know if there still is today. There was no resource page on how to do it right. Or anything like that. So I am so excited to be sharing all these tips with you guys. And I think that they apply to more than just an at-home bakery business. It could be any kind of business that you are starting from home. So number one is the legal stuff. I think it's very important for obvious reasons. But pertinent to baking is making sure that you have the proper certifications, permits, and whatever you need per your county and your state. There's a lot of information out there. I think the best thing to do is probably to go right to the county website, but also call a friend. There's probably a ton of local bakers in your area doing what you are doing. So hop on Instagram, send them a DM, if you have any questions or you just need some advice on navigating the website and finding the right information. It's all out there. People are happy to help, and I wish that I would have done that. I didn't really reach out to anybody when I first started. Rather, I went straight to those websites and was really confused. So definitely research that and try to get that squared away from the jump and lean on a friend or a fellow baker and maker in the area that could help you out and point you in the right direction. Okay, so my next tip is respecting yourself and valuing your time. You have to look out for your business and yourself and make sure that your business runs accordingly and that you're pricing appropriately and charging for your services appropriately. Nobody else is going to do that except for you. That is your job to make sure that your time is valued and you get paid accordingly. There's so many things that go into making just one cake. The ingredients, the time, the experience, packaging, decorating, getting flowers, coordinating with the client, waiting for them to pick up, even if it's just from your house. You might not have the overhead that a full-blown bakery does, but your time is so important. You have to make sure that you take care of that. So my next tip is to 100% try to avoid bending over backwards for people. I think back to when I first started, that's absolutely what I did. I thought, well, I need all of this experience and I want to try all these new things, so I'm not going to charge them for this, I'm not going to charge them for that, or it's going to be super discounted. And at the end of the day, that doesn't really feel good. And it's really kind of a devaluation of who you are, what you're trying to do, and your time. So if possible, I would avoid giving away free things. So something that I have experienced, going a little more in depth into this topic, is giving away free things to family and friends and then kind of being stuck in that rut with them. It's uncomfortable, especially as you grow and there's still the expectation of getting super discounted things, or you're just going to be in charge of bringing the cake to the birthday party every single time. I think that family means well, but it's an awkward place to be, 5 years down the road when you're a full, blown business and people still expect things for free. But like I mentioned in the last point, it's really up to you to set that expectation and that standard for yourself and your product. So I would start that from the very beginning so you don't end up dealing with this down the road. Those are small things that you shouldn't have to worry about, especially as time goes on. So my next tip, which I think is a little more specific to baking, cake decorating, desserts, and that kind of stuff, is to try new things, but not overcommit to where it's detrimental. For example, I remember starting out and taking on an order that I really didn't have any experience with as far as the technique for cake design went, but I took it anyway. And your own limits. I knew that I should not have taken it because I wasn't ready. And the entire time making that cake was super stressful. It wasn't fun. It wasn't enjoyable. Of course, it's all about how you look at the situation, but sometimes you're just not ready to do things. So while you should try new things, it's very uncomfortable to commit to something that you're not ready to do and that you can't fulfill, especially if someone is paying you. So on that note, invest in yourself. You'll only get better by practicing and doing doing things, trying new techniques, and really getting a lot of knowledge. So invest in yourself. When you take a cake order or a cupcake order, and you make X amount of dollars, what are you gonna do with that money? Invest it back into yourself. If you want to get better, buy an online course, go buy a book about cake decorating or about mastering fondant, or coloring buttercream, or hop on YouTube and watch a bunch of tutorials, but make sure that you are doing everything you can to grow and invest in yourself, in your business, in your product, in your talent, and your passion. As I said before, nobody is going to look out for you more than you. Nobody is going to build your business better than you, and so it's up to you to invest in yourself. All right, so my next tip is to use your resources, and one of those resources is social media, and it's free for the most part. There really isn't enough that can be said about being on Instagram and Facebook, especially for what I do. It's kind of like a full-time job because you have to stay relevant, you have to make sure you're posting and you're communicating with people, but it's also free, minus your time. I mean, if you choose to not, pay for ads, then you can have free advertisement. And I promise you, I have had people who've ordered cakes from us and I ask them, how did you hear about us? And they say, oh, the hashtag Arizona Cakes. And I never thought it worked until then. Like seriously, it really, really works. Word of mouth, that can't be replaced, but social media and people tagging you and shouting you out is like word of mouth. And everyone's on Instagram and Facebook. So I definitely think it's important if you are trying to grow your business and you're trying to get out in the community and you want people, to notice you and your product and what you're doing. Okay, so my last tip, which I think is the hardest one, especially if you have a really entrepreneur mindset, but it is to enjoy the journey. That's really what it's all about. Sometimes you're thinking so far ahead about where you want to be in a year, where you want to be in 5 years, what products you want to have out, what designs you want to have nailed, that you kind of forget about everything that you're doing to get there and how good it feels to have those wins, and sometimes you don't even celebrate them. But I encourage you to take a step back a lot of times and just see how far you've come, and do things that serve you and your business, work with people that serve you and your business. Yeah, I think that's all the tips that I have. If you have any questions, if you have any tips, let me know. I am here and I'm happy to help. Thank you guys for watching.